going on, everybody? What do you do when you're in a public place and someone mentions something about your hair loss, receding hairline, or maybe even your hair system? This video, we're going to be taking a look at that and talking all about it. Now, the reason that we're going to be doing that is because of a post that I found on the Trestless Reddit, and it brings up like a very interesting topic, and one that I think that we've all had to face and wondered, what would I do in that situation? But real quick, before we jump into the video, this video is sponsored by Lord Hair. They're always making education of all sorts of different types available to the community through sponsoring these videos. If you are looking for your first hair system and a discount, you can use my code down in this description below, and let's just jump into the video. So this post came out a day or two ago, and it got a good amount of engagement from it, and I thought it would just bring up an interesting topic of discussion. So this poster says, how do you back up a guy when someone makes fun of their hairline? My hair isn't too bad. People might not even notice my hairline is receded, but it's been going long enough to know what it's like to feel self-conscious about it. A few times I've been at a party where some drunk B will take a low blow and tease a guy who's balding, which results in an awkward situation where he's embarrassed and everyone cringes a little bit in the comment. I want to be able to diffuse the tension without putting the girl down in an equally awkward way, but I haven't really had success. So my question is, how would you handle the situation? Now, I think this is a really interesting post, and I want to point out a couple things inside of it that I noticed. So first, this guy is obviously empathizing with someone else that is dealing with hair loss in some order or fashion, right? Which makes sense. And he says that he wants to diffuse the situation. Number one, instead of escalating the situation, he doesn't want to put the girl down or the person that is actually talking about the insult down in an awkward way, and he wants to diffuse the tension, right? So his goal isn't to bitterly get back at that person, but I want you to leave a comment down below what you would do in this situation if someone made that comment to you, or if it was to your friend. I want to know what you would do with just like zero holds bar. Like, what do you think is the appropriate response here? We're gonna go through some of these comments here, and then I'm gonna give my hot take on the situation. All right, so let's take a look at the best source of advice on the internet, which is Reddit comments. So the first comment right here is, I honestly just call people straight up. Just be like, dang, why are you making fun of him for something he can't control? That's pretty messed up. People usually feel pretty stupid after that. So that got a ton of upvotes, right? 141. And I think that's definitely a good response. But let's just keep on looking, right? I need more courage to do that. I'm in the same spot as OP. Male coworker of mine has to deal with this on a regular basis. Build up that confidence. Imagine if you were in that position, you want someone to stick up for you. Bullying isn't cool. This is an interesting post. It's so sad to see how something beyond our control is ridiculed, which is pretty ironic when body positivity is being preached out, but I've never seen it preached out for men. Nobody knows how it feels unless they're one of the victims of balding, and it vastly underestimated by society. Gets so easily brushed off with words like, oh, just shave it. Or, men, if you're receding and you're trying to hide, it just shows you're insecure, as if any of it is easy. I'm in my early 20s and my hairline is practically gone. I started receding since I was 19. I've lost the confidence I've tried so hard to build. And the sad irony is that I've always been insecure as a teen who tried to change this, but only succeeded for a short time. I always notice when people notice it, even without saying a word hurts. But when someone makes a crude comment and laughs about it, or makes a judgmental remark, it just completely destroys me. So hearing what you're saying about your friend absolutely hurts, as I can sympathize. If I were you, please do stand up for him. Okay, so that's an interesting thread. Let's take a look at this one right here. It says, it's like when I caught my hot dentist looking at my balding hair on the sides of my head as she cleaned my teeth. She didn't say anything, but I caught her looking plenty of times. Had she said something though, I could have easily brought up a 2-pound layered makeup she had on. This is the way. He can get a hair transplant. You'll always be a bit of a bee. I normally say I'm not balding. You guys are just hairy as hell. You could yell, did you just bald shame, bro? And knock her unconscious. Don't worry, you are 100% covered legally by the Norwood laws. That's a funny one. I would just say, you're teasing someone for someone that is, for the most part, out of their control. You're making them feel like crap for something that their body is just naturally doing. How would you feel if someone made fun of you when you're old and fat, which in all honesty happens to many women after they settle down and have kids? Oof. So he says, I want to be able to diffuse that tension. Yeah, me too. That's the thing, right? Like, how do you diffuse the tension in these situations? Tell her she smells as badly as she's acting. Ooh, pretty much the only way to deflect is to say, much have too much test coming from these nuts, bro. Then flex the biceps. Helps if you're big. I interject, it's perfectly normal part of the aging process, like how their boobs are sagging. And he's looking fine as hell with it. You got a grape-shaped head, G. I'm jealous. Oh man, people are great. I love Reddit comments. It's simple, you back the guy up completely. If it's your friend, joking or not, have you seen the person any other way? The person is who he is, and you would probably not bat an eyelid. And you do not need more than say, stop it, I'm not happy the way you're taking the pee. How would you like if I remark about how you look? I'd tell the girl, at least he has the balls to go out in public all natural. Meanwhile, you take 3 hours to put on your face and look somewhat presentable. As third party, you have very little control over a situation of that sort. It's mostly up to the guy who's been offended to either shrug it off or make a joke and ease the atmosphere. All you can do is just call it the person who made the joke. I would say at least his hair is real. He don't wear a wig like females do. He don't got makeup on. He's just himself, unnatural, unlike most women. At least he doesn't need to hide his genetics with makeup. Lots of like very interesting responses here. I think we're actually pretty close to the end right here. Let's take a look at the last few. I make fun of the person making fun of others' hairline. Live with integrity and call it BS when you spot it. I've lived with being short and bad hairline and have been able to turn it around and also get people's spirits lifted because it doesn't faze me. People who I would have traded lives with before ask me how I do it or how I'm confident. It's because those things don't define me. Stand up for the people you want to stand up for. It shows your character and will leave lasting efforts to those experienced by it. Blame my parents. I usually try to remind people that it's just bad luck and can happen to anyone, including them, sooner than they think. Make it awkward. They made the socially unexpected comment and opened the floor up for public put down. Yeah, so before I give my kind of hot take on this right here, I want you to leave your comment down below how you would handle the situation regardless, how you would diffuse tension or how you would call someone out. I'm gonna give my hot take on this right here, and I know it's gonna be different than a lot of people, but I'm just going to give you truly what's in my spirit, how I would handle a situation like this based off of the person that I am, right? So who am I? Well, if you notice, I don't really flame or get in troll wars with people that leave comments that say mean things on my posts down below. And that's because I just don't like to give it energy. So in this situation right here, I kind of am in line with the person who is posting right here, where they're looking to diffuse tension and they're looking to support somebody and they're not looking to put down the girl in an equally awkward way. So those are the 3 conditions that I would personally find myself doing. So number 1, in that situation, if it was in a group setting, right, there was actually some like social infrastructure there, what I would do is I would actually lean and show my support for the friend of mine that is actually dealing with some hair loss. So say, you know, person X said like, whoa, you got like a crappy hairline, you're losing your hair, dude. I'd be like, you know, honestly, you look great, man. And the best thing about you is like, you got an amazing personality. You work super duper hard. Like, you're one of my best friends and I love you for it. Let them feel your support. Let them feel that it's more than just their hairline that matters to you, right? So that's what I would do in that public setting and try to move the conversation to a different place. Immediately, that would be my goal. Now, after the fact, I would do 2 things. Number 1, I would actually go up to that guy, the one with the hair loss, and I would talk with him one-on-one. And I'd be like, listen, dude, that wasn't cool. You know, I want you to know that I saw that, and I know how that feels. Like, I get it, and it really, really stinks. And I just have a heart-to-heart with him, let him know that I'm supporting him, that I'm there for him, whatever choices he makes in the futures, but there are things that he can do to resolve it if he wants to. If he doesn't, that's fine too. And then the second thing that I would do is I would actually approach the person that made the comment, so in this situation, the girl, and I'd be like, listen, I didn't want to publicly embarrass you right there, the way that you did to my friend, but I do feel like I need to make something very clear to you. That type of behavior is not okay. You actually make people feel really bad when you do that. Just don't do it. It's unnecessary. You're just making yourself look like a jerk. I'd be very curt. Let them know exactly what I'm thinking. Don't make them, I wouldn't insult them in any way. I would just be very, very honest so that way they understand what their actions are doing. And you know, a lot of people get off on that type of behavior. They actually like doing that because they feel power. So sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes people don't know, or they're just being ignorant, or they just don't have a clue. But oftentimes people actually like that, right? And the best thing you can do is stand up to them, let them know it's not okay, and just hold that barrier. You know, if this person was to do it again, right? If they kept on badgering, then that's something where I think you can address it a little bit more publicly. That this is a behavior that will not be accepted, and letting the group know. But for me, that's the best way I think that I would diffuse tension, is I would support and talk to that person one-on-one, but also mention that support for that person in the social infrastructure, like of the group or whatever it is. What do you think? Would you do the same exact thing that I would do? Would you do something different? Let me know. Do you think I have the right strategy? Do I have the wrong strategy? Go leave a Reddit post if you like this thing right here. Leave something funny. There's always the best advice in the world in Reddit posts. Anyways, we'll see you soon.